Okay, we're on a trail, a snowmobile trail, that's maintained by the Hardy Country Snowmobile Club. This trail comes off of Orange Road and pretty much stays on Orange Road for quite a ways. I don't know the different trail numbers. Snowmobile trails are numbered. They're not named like the roads they lie on. But this road is a historic road. It was built by the Postal Service. It was built for the Postal Service back when they still built postal roads. And it's been the source of commerce and, more recently, recreational commerce. It's been a resource for recreational commerce for at least 40 years now. And most hunters, snowmobilers, cross-country skiers, nature lovers, hikers, things like that, have made it a point to come up here and check things out. There are old foundations. Not far from here is an entire village that was abandoned in 1826 that people come to check out. There's a lot of history here, which is a resource of ours. It's being ignored, but it is a resource of ours. And it brings revenue to the state and to the small business owners in the state. So we're going to follow this trail. I'm going to take some footage as we're going up. We're going to be looking at Fire Screw and at Mount Cardigan, if my pace is fast enough. And from Mount Cardigan or Fire Screw or both, we're going to take some footage of the existing wind turbines that are at the Tenny Mountain complex, which actually involves several peaks, as you'll see. What I want you to think about as we're looking around is just imagine this pristine wilderness, and this really is a pristine wilderness. It's about 110 square miles in all. It's all come back. It was farm 100 plus years ago, but it's all come back. It's had several cuts by loggers, create some industry that way. But it also has come back as a real resource for the animals that live here. And well, it is what it is. It's part of the ecosystem. So we're gonna start walking. I'll take some footage now and again, but I won't bore you with the details of walking up the trail, although I do invite you to come up. It's a beautiful area. And we'll take some shots of Spruce Ridge. We'll take some shots of the existing wind farm, and we'll talk a little bit more about how this may be permanently altered in the event that the development that's proposed for Spruce Ridge by a Portuguese company, also headquartered out of Delaware, by this Portuguese company that is proposed right now, and they've been making some headway in getting their permit. Okay, we're in an alpine meadow, just below the hiking trail that brings you up the ridge of Fire Screw. And the direction we're looking in is pretty much east. And if I bring it in a little bit, you can't see it. You can see it with the naked eye, but on this camera it's a little harder to see. As I move in, without trying to make anybody get a headache, these are the wind turbines that you can see on Groton Wind's development. Groton Wind is a Spanish company, or it's owned by a Spanish company called Iberdrola, which owns countless wind farms across the country. Anyway, that is Iberdrola's project. If we bring it down, this hill here that comes in just between us, you can kind of see the line. This hill here is Jewel Hill. Jewel Hill is slated to have a development as well by a company from Germany called Giwi. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then we come over to here to Spruce Ridge. Pretty much there. That ends Spruce Ridge. So Spruce Ridge comes along here. This is all Spruce Ridge. This is the development proposed by the Portuguese company EDP Renewables.
which also has its parent company in Delaware. So this is kind of an issue, because if you look at it, we're standing on a spur that comes off of Mount Cardigan, one of the most popular hiking areas, bringing revenue to the state, maintained by the Appalachian Mountain Club. You have Iberdrola Renewables Project. You're going to have, if things go according to their plans, another wind farm here on Jewel Hill, and yet another wind farm here on Spruce Ridge. Not going to be much of a wilderness setting if this takes root. So, and don't limit it to these hilltops. Any hilltop is fair game. Remember, we need 500 linear miles of ridgeline to meet the goals of the wind industry for the state of New Hampshire. This is Fire Screw. It's a spur that comes off of Mount Cardigan. I don't believe it's considered to be its own peak, but it has magnificent views of where we're going to be looking today. I got here a little late, so we're probably not going to go to Cardigan. We may, depending again how fast I manage to go. But this is the hill we're going to be climbing, and if you look, the summit of this spur is bare. You can see the rock there. So we're going to be up there at the very least, if we don't go to Cardigan, to take in the views and just get a glimpse of what the Spruce Ridge Wind Project would be occupying. So that's our purpose in going up Fire Screw and hopefully Cardigan today.
Closer to the top. Almost to the top of Fire Screw.
That little speck, a little sticky thing pointing up off the top of that big hill, is the fire tower on top of Mount Cardigan. This is Mount Cardigan. It's one of the most beautiful mountains I've ever been on. I've been on quite a few. And this is the largely undeveloped area to the south and east of Mount Cardigan. Then we're above the draw that connects the saddle that connects Fire Screw to Cardigan. So we're still in the woods a little bit as we head back down into that saddle. Now imagine, if you will, 500 linear miles of wind farms, all coming off of this mountaintop. It's actually quite beautiful here. It's like the Alps. Not as high, not unsimilar. Anyway, so that's what we have. We have all these beautiful mountaintops, hilltops, ridgelines that are rural, residential in nature, that draw hundreds of thousands of people here every year. And the idea is that these are going to be covered in wind turbines if we don't do something fast. We're on top of Mount Cardigan now. The view behind me is looking north. It's the area that's been developed for wind so far in Groton. I'm going to try and get some footage of the different hilltops
point out the existing Groton Wind development, the development that's proposed for Jewel Hill, and the development that's proposed for Spruce Ridge, and then come around Cardigan to show the proposed development area along Wild Meadow, just the general area. Tens of thousands of people, I'm told, come to Mount Cardigan every year from all over the world. It has a lot of history. It's accessible, as I said, and it's just beautiful. And so to develop this any further than it has been is tragic. It's going to have a huge and lasting impact on the environmental and wilderness recreation economy. There's a lack of places like this in the world, especially in this part of the United States. And so to have it developed any further than it has been will have a lasting and negative impact on the regional economy and really on the quality of life for people that come here. Not just the people that live here, but the people that come here.
May I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Thanks. I'm Bill. Hi. I'm doing a documentary for YouTube and on the television. We're going to have, just so you know, the wind towers.
Okay.
They're going to put them pretty much, well, on most of these mountaintops here.
Okay.
All along here, and I'm opposed to that.
Oh.
I've been speaking out against it. I think it's going to hurt the wilderness, but it also kills a lot of birds, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's also going to take away from the recreation, the quality of recreation, people coming up here. And one of the things that I've been telling folks is that there's oh, I'm recording now, guys. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
okay. Let me just well, I guess what I'd ask is where you guys came from. You obviously came here to go hiking, so can you say where you came from to come up?
We came from Boston.
Okay. Are you from Boston originally?
We're actually from Nepal.
Nepal. Do you live in Nepal? Oh, so these are big mountains for you guys.
Yeah.
Not really, huh?
Yeah.
But there's
It works.
huh?
It works.
It works. It's a hill, right? It does the trick. And do you live here now, or are you visiting?
Yeah.
Or? Oh, well, welcome. I'm from Boston originally. I got the heck out of there. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things where what I'm trying to do right now is just ask people why they come to this part of New Hampshire, what they were looking for, and if they feel that they would be as likely to come if there were wind turbines. Because what I'm trying to say is that, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I'm trying to do is demonstrate that bringing these in is going to displace a large chunk of the jobs that help people in the area. We have logging and we have tourism. And my concern is the tourism. Logging probably won't go away, but tourism will in all likelihood vaporize. So do you have any thoughts on that?
It definitely disturbs the nature, right?
It'll have an impact of some sort on nature, won't it? Do you think they'd be as likely to come up if there had been turbines everywhere, or would you come back?
If it's everywhere, like visibly everywhere,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Why? I mean, it was like that almost everywhere in all these hills.
So, like, that's enough probably. That's what we have
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Even that makes it look a little.
Yeah, it looks odd. It doesn't look like the whole, like, really a hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like some kind of, like, it doesn't look like a nature hill.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's not anymore, and it's
Yeah.
off limits too. You can't even go up there if
How
you
far
want.
are they gonna go? I'm so sorry.
Well, they're gonna go. I'm gonna turn the camera.
That's fine.
But they're pretty much gonna go from where they are now. I'm not gonna be able to get it with this zoom, but pretty much along. They're gonna hit this hill here, and then they're gonna hit another hill that we can't really see that well, called Jewel Hill.
Yeah.
And then they're going to hit Spruce Ridge, which leads right up to, pretty much come in a path directly toward us. And then it's going to come around the mountain this way, come around this side of the mountain
Yeah.
to the west.
Oh, like the whole. So the
Yeah,
whole
it's called Wild Meadow, and it's going to pretty much
Yeah, that would.
take over the.
Definitely spoil the view. I don't think it will affect much of the hiking part when you come up here.
Still hiking.
Yeah, it's still hiking, but once we come here, it's going to look ugly.
It'd be a disappointment.
Yeah. We come here to look at a
Nature.
It would look like some sort of industry. I mean,
That's what it is. It's a big industry.
no, it would end up looking like some sort of industry, like something very
it looks very industrial.
Yeah.
We come here to look at old small man, undiscovered civilization.
Sure.
No signs of human being.
Right.
But it's a natural state.
Yeah.
Long time.
Well, you know what's funny is this was actually all farmland 100 years ago, and it came back, and finally, you know, it's not old. Most of it. I'm sorry.
There was a fire, right?
There was. Well, the fire. Yeah, that's why this is bald. It burned the duff. It burned the understory and the duff, and then the wind took all the remaining soil away, and that was in the 1800s. So. Let me stop. So thumbs up or thumbs down, I guess, on more wind turbines up here as tourists. Thumbs down. Thanks, guys. Okay. So these are the wind turbines. The obstacle is. They're going to come right down here. Okay, well, we had a pretty successful trip. We got some footage. Didn't get to talk to many people because there weren't many people up here. But I think we got an impression of the vast wilderness that surrounds this area and the impact that it would have. And hopefully that sheds some light on the enormity of the situation for people who haven't made a decision yet as to whether or not they think this will have an impact on our quality of life and our economy. So anyway, that was the purpose of the trip. Time to start heading down before it gets too dark. Sun's about to head down. And so are we. So thanks very much.